Hi, folks. It's Marvin Music with MedicareSchool.com, and I want to welcome you once again to our live event this evening. So I don't forget, we'll have another one of these on Thursday at 5 o'clock, but then also we have a daily program now, every day from 11 Central Time to noon. My son and I actually host a daily program where we actually can respond to you live with our questions, not just through the chat. And so if you've not been a part of that, we'd love to have you be on that. And then also you can sign up in advance to ask some of your questions if you would enjoy participating in that. We call that Medicare School Daily. And we're hoping to have that program expand, give people an opportunity during the day to be able to answer their question, and we get their questions answered as well. All right, so Hannah is in our studio tonight, one of our marketing team, and she'll be feeding me questions here in just a few minutes. But if you want to start putting your questions in the chat, really anything about Medicare, Social Security, your particular situation, confusion, whatever is going on in your life as it relates to Medicare or Social Security, I would love to be able to take your questions tonight, and hopefully we'll have the answers. I'll certainly do my best, and we'll go, I don't know, for as long as you have questions. I usually can hang in there, but it's a joy to be with you. Thank you for setting this time aside. A couple things, especially for those of you that are new to this. Our company is called MedicareSchool.com. We are Medicare brokers, so we write Medicare insurance plans. We help people with their Social Security enrollments as well. We're also investment advisors. So really everything related to retirement, that's what our company does. And so if you need assistance with anything, really, any of these items, we'd be delighted to serve you and help you. We do like to start a relationship with education. That's been the platform of our business. My son and I started this company 17 years ago now, and we wanted to do things a little bit differently. We didn't just want to try to write products and sell insurance and push plans. We're not wired that way, and so we have always approached our business with education first to make sure that everyone that's going on Medicare really understands the system well, the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and really all the details. Why? Because when you go on Medicare, you're going to make a big decision. How do you want your Medicare coverage to work? What do you want to look like? And so we want to make sure you understand those options well. We want people to make decisions with confidence, knowing that down the road they're not going to have some kind of regret for making a Medicare mistake. And so that's really the philosophy of our company. And so we'd be delighted to be your broker. I want to mention, while I can at this time, when you use a broker, whether you use our company or anybody, you never pay us. We truly are free. All agents that write Medicare plans are free to you because the insurance companies actually pay us. And so it doesn't cost you any more to use a broker. It doesn't cost you any less to use a broker. The insurance companies set the premium, so those are always the same across the board. So if you use a broker, then normally we feel like the advantage is you get to be educated on your options in a market. In some markets, there's 70 plan options, others maybe 30 or 40, but there's usually lots of different companies and options. So the broker, as brokers, we bring to the table those options. I can't say that we write for every single company because that's not true. We purposely do not write for certain companies just because they're small, more regional, not stable with their rates, or they're newcomers to the market. We try to be very careful who we write with and write for. But when we place that business, the insurance companies pay us. You don't have to at all. But then we also are your broker, so we get to help you as things change, and things do change over time. And so we believe that using a broker is usually in most people's best interests. And so we'd be delighted to serve as that. One more thing, and I'm going to get to my topic and then get to your questions. But if you are brand new to our site, I want to encourage you, if you're still exploring this Medicare and you're still confused and have a lot more questions than you do answers, I would encourage you, please go to our website, MedicareSchool.com. MedicareSchool.com, and on our homepage, you can't miss it, there is an opportunity for you to watch what we call an essential workshop. It's free, and it's a workshop that I, of course, developed years ago and continue to update it annually, and I teach it live in certain markets as well. But it's a place for you to go to really learn, and very concisely. I think this year's workshop was maybe 50 minutes, but truly a lot of the things that you need to know and where you have questions, you're going to get answers in that workshop. There's no cost, there's no obligation, so please go to MedicareSchool.com and sign up for the Essentials Workshop. and continue learning Medicare. And if you've never been to our YouTube channel, then we have one. I think there's, 1,500, 1,700 videos or so that are on our channel for you to watch. And so just things and all things Medicare related, Social Security. And so avail yourself of these resources. Okay, I'm going to get started. Let's talk about these enrollment periods. Now, by the way, when I talked to our producer about this, Daniel, I told him 6, and there's really actually 7. So it's going to be 6 plus a bonus. Sorry that I messed that up. But we are going to talk about these different enrollment periods. And one of them is going to end at the end of this month. And so let's just do just a quick overview of the enrollment periods and really talk about why they are so important. So here is the way, folks, you can understand enrollment periods. Simple. You break the enrollment periods, all 7 of these down, and you have to break them up by way of categories. Okay? So we have 3 enrollment periods that have to do with enrolling into Medicare, getting into the Medicare A and B system. 3 of them. Okay, 2 of them are great, and one of them, frankly, stinks. It's an option, but hopefully you don't have to use it. But those 3 enrollment periods that we're going to talk about get us into Medicare. They get us enrolled into Medicare A and B. Then we have 4 enrollment periods that have to do with getting Medicare insurance. So we have to take care of the A and B first because that's what makes us eligible to buy insurance. But now we have these other 4 enrollment periods that have to do with insurance products. So let's quickly just talk about those enrollment periods that are available to us to get into Medicare A and B, because you have to choose the right one at the right time. So the first one is called our IEP. Acronym IEP stands for Initial Enrollment Period. And this is for all of us that have paid into the Medicare tax system for at least 40 quarters, or we have a spouse or an ex-spouse or deceased spouse that did. But as long as we have 40 quarters, we're able to enroll into Medicare during our initial enrollment period. And that enrollment period revolves around our 65th birth month, and it's 3 months before we turn 65, the month we turn 65, and then 3 months after. So it is only a 7-month window. And anyone that needs to start Medicare at 65, this is when you're going to enroll into Medicare during your IEP, 7-month window. Now, keep this in mind. If you are already receiving Social Security benefits, whether that's retirement, whether that's survivor, whether that's spousal benefits, you will be automatically enrolled into Medicare. They're going to use the IEP for you. In fact, your card, your Medicare card will show up 100 days before your birth month. Okay, so let's talk through a quick example. If you get your card during the month of March, meaning you're on Social Security, and your Medicare card shows up this month. That would be for anyone. So if it's going to show up in March, that would be anyone, April, May, June. So anyone that is turning 65 this July, your Medicare card is going to show up in the mail around the 15th to the 20th of this month. Here in the next week or two, your Medicare card shows up. Now listen, if you're not on Social Security, your card's not going to show up. I'm saying anyone who's already on Social Security benefits, regardless of what those look like, retirement, survivor, or spousal, you'll be automatically enrolled into Medicare, and your Medicare will begin your 65th birth month. So again, your birthday month is in July, the card is going to show up in March. If your birthday coming up is in June, you would have gotten your card at the end of February. It always works that way. Now, the one exception would be if your birthday is on the first day of the month. First day, then your Medicare actually starts the previous month. If you're born on the second day thereafter, Medicare begins our birth month. Born on the first, it will be the previous month. So if your birthday is July 1, Medicare is going to start June 1. It always begins that way. So that's called the initial enrollment period. Now, I want to clarify something. There are 5 groups of you that are watching this tonight that if you are turning 65, you must use your IEP, your initial enrollment period. Real simple. Anyone who's no longer working or your spouse is no longer working, you have to take Medicare at 65. Anyone that's on COBRA insurance right now, that extension of that previous employer plan, and you're on COBRA and you're approaching 65, you must enroll into A and B at 65. If you're TRICARE, retired military, great insurance, but that TRICARE is going to force you to be on A and B at 65. Anyone that's working for a small employer, defined my Medicare as an employer payroll of 19 employees or fewer. 19 or fewer, you have to go on Medicare at 65. And then anyone that's on an ACA plan, Affordable Care Act plan, you are going to lose all the financial incentives at 65. So again, you're going to drop the ACA plan and you're going on Medicare. So that's the 5 that must use the IEP. No longer working, spouse no longer working, no group plan, you're on COBRA, you're on TRICARE, you're on a small employer plan, or you're on an ACA plan. You're going on Medicare at 65 using your initial enrollment period. So if you're not on Social Security, you have 7 months to enroll. I highly suggest that you enroll 3 months before your birth month so that you can start your Medicare when you're first eligible on your birth month. Okay, so that's one enrollment period. Second enrollment period is for those of you that are still working or your spouse is, meaning you have an employer plan available to you and you like that plan. And so you're going to stay on that plan and maybe you're going to continue to work for several more years. I want you to know that as long as your employer payroll has 20 employees on the payroll or more, you don't have to do anything with Medicare. You don't have to do A, you don't have to do B, you do not have to use your initial enrollment period. You don't have to. Now, why does this matter? Here's why. Because if you're going to continue to work or your spouse is and you're contributing to a health savings account, you don't want to do A and you certainly don't want to do B if you have a good group plan. So those on HSAs, don't do anything. I would encourage you, continue to contribute to your HSAs. You can put almost $450 a month into those. That money's going in pre-tax. It grows tax deferred. It's tax exempt if you use it on medical expenses. So keep putting money into that HSA. Don't enroll into A, don't enroll into B, and I promise you, as long as you've worked at least 10 years, 40 quarters we call it, you'll never ever be penalized on Part A. So don't enroll into A thinking I got to do it because you'll be penalized. That's not true. The only people that are ever penalized on Medicare Part A are those that have to buy Part A, meaning they don't have 40 quarters. And that, folks, is only 1% of the population. So don't enroll into A if you have an HSA. Keep putting money into that account. Now, if you're turning 65 or your spouse is and you're covered by a good group plan, you or your spouses, and you are not you don't have an HSA, then yes, enroll into A only. I'm not telling you to enroll into A only because I'm worried about a penalty. That's not true. But I would tell you, if you still are working spouses, 20 or more employees, it's a good idea to take A only. You get into the system. And what happens if you went to the hospital, Medicare may pay something. Now, listen, if your group is 20 or more, Medicare's second payer. Your group plan is still first. But in the second payer position, Medicare will not pay deductibles for you. It will not pay any copays, but it will pay coinsurance. And your plan probably has coinsurance on the hospital side. So your plan pays 80, you pay 20, or your plan pays 90 and you pay 10, that 10 or 20% coinsurance could be paid by Medicare. So I like A only. I don't like it because I'm worried about penalties. I like it if you don't have an HSA, it goes to the second payer position and it may offset some of your expenses. All right, that is called that would be the IEP, meaning there's people that are still working that don't have to do anything with the IEP. All right, now what's going to happen for those of you that don't start Medicare at 65? Maybe you have A only, or maybe you have nothing. Well, in the future, you're going to retire, or your spouse is, you're going to lose that plan. And that brings us to our second enrollment period called the special enrollment period. Special enrollment period. Now, this is for people that didn't start Medicare at 65. Their spouse were working, had an employer plan of 20 people or more on that plan, so they didn't have to take Medicare. Now, let's say they're 67, 2 years later. What will they do? Now they're going to come into Medicare with a different enrollment period called the special enrollment period. Special. And the way this one works, officially, once you have lost your group plan, this special enrollment period actually lasts for 8 months. Okay, officially it does. Now, that's not the way you're going to use it, though, folks. Trust me, it's not. Yes, SEP lasts 8 months, but here's the way it's going to work. Let's say you work 2 more years. And your birthday is this month. You were born March of 1961, and you're going to work 2 more years. So you're going to work until March of 2028, 2 years later. What's going to happen is you're going to retire. Let's say in March of 2028. You want to start your Medicare in April. Well, about 2 or 3 months before you retire, you're going to get your Medicare enrollments progressing. and you're going to use what's called the SEP, the Special Enrollment Period. You're not going to use the 8 months. You're going to do all this in advance so that when your group plan ends March 31, your Medicare begins April 1. And the way we come into Medicare 2 years after 65 is with special enrollment. And here's the key. All we have to do is verify that you've had credible coverage back to 65. So we got to go back 2 years, make sure you had credible coverage through an employer plan. Again, it could have been yours, it could have been your spouse's. It doesn't matter. As long as there was active employment and active insurance through that work, then you are eligible for a special enrollment period. But listen to me. That active insurance and active employment, we have to verify it every single month back to 65 with no gaps at all. And as long as we've had that credible coverage back to 65, you can come into Medicare. And the form we use to prove that's called an L564. Now, when we have the initial enrollment period at 65, we don't use the L564 form. Some people do that, and it's not necessary. All you have to do at 65 is have 40 quarters. Enroll. You're done. SEP, we're doing this at 67, different. Now we got to prove we have credible coverage. L564 does that for us. And then the second form we do is we have a form called a 40B. And the 40B form says this is when I want to begin Medicare. So my employer verifies I've had credible coverage. That's the L564. The CMS 40B tells Medicare that now I'm ready to start my Medicare certain date. In my example, I said I want to start April 1. And I submit these two documents to the local Social Security office, and I come into Medicare, no penalties, no problems, a very seamless process. That is called the SEP. And then the last one is the one I don't want you to use, and that's called the GEP. And we're in that right now. Okay, general enrollment period. Now, I don't like this one. Some people have to use it, but the reason people have to use the general enrollment period is because they messed up on the IEP or the SEP. Just messed it up, made a mistake, or whatever. There's a variety of reasons, but they've made a mistake, so they still can get into Medicare as long as they have 40 quarters. But now, this general enrollment period is limited. We're in it right now, but it's only January 1 to March 31. That's it. And so we enroll January. They'll start Medicare February. We enroll February. They'll start Medicare March. We enroll in March. They'll start us in April. But here's the problem with the GEP. It's only the first 3 months of the year. So what happens if you find out you made a mistake in April or May and you want to get into Medicare? Too late. You missed your IEP, you missed your SEP, and now the GEP just expired March 31. So now we have to wait until next year to bring you into Medicare. So all three of those accomplish the same thing. They bring us into Medicare. That is the IEP, SEP, GEP. Now let's talk about real quickly the 4 enrollment periods that have to do with insurance, getting insurance. The first one is called ICEP. ICEP. It stands for Initial Coverage Election Period. Excuse me. This is for those of you that are going to elect to be covered by a Medicare Advantage plan. Now, they could be at 65, it could be at 67, it could be at 71, but we have this ICEP period that allows us to enroll into an Advantage plan. Half of all Americans do that. And so when we're now on A and B, they give us this window of time to enroll into an Advantage plan, and that's 3 months before we actually begin our Part B. That's called the excuse me, the ICEP. All right, so that's that one. Now, let's talk about the next one. And that has to do with what we refer to as the annual enrollment period, AEP. AEP, and that happens, it'll happen later this year, and this is October 15th through December the 7th, October 15th, December 7th, and this is for people that would like to switch their Medicare Advantage plan or their drug plan, Advantage or drug. And so when we make an election during October 15th to December 7th window, the plan we're on takes us through 12/31. But the new plan we selected during this AEP will begin January 1. And here's my point. We have this annual enrollment period every year for people to switch their Advantage plans and their drug plans, and the new plans go effective January 1. All right, now here's what's important. With Advantage, as you'll see in a minute, we have another opportunity, but with drug plans, we don't. And so if you decide to have what we call a standalone drug plan, this means you're probably an A and B, and you have a supplemental plan, you have a separate drug plan. Folks, this is the one and only time of the year, October 15th to December 7th, where you can change your drug plan. So you want to make sure that you do that, because if not, your drug plan you're on, if you don't switch it, it's going to automatically renew. And if it automatically renews, now you're going to be stuck on that plan for another year. Hopefully you'll like it, but if you don't, it's too late to change. So that's why that AEP, October 15th to December 7th date is so critical. That's when you can change Advantage plans and drug plans going effect January 1. Now, the next one is this, called the Medicare Advantage OEP, Medicare Advantage. So this is for people that are already on Medicare Advantage plans effective January 1. You already have one. So what you have in this window is you have an opportunity to return back to original Medicare, buy a supplemental plan if you can qualify, or you can switch your Advantage plans. And so this is what they call the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period, or it's a time to adjust your Advantage plan. And we're in that right now. It'll expire March 31. So this may be you. You may be on an Advantage plan already. You're not really happy with it. Maybe you enrolled into a new plan, found out your doctor's not network. You don't like your prescription drug coverage. Maybe you are going to a new specialist and they're not in network, or your hospital, whatever's going on. It's not too late to switch. It's called the Medicare Advantage OEP, January 1 to March 31. So you're still in the window. So if you're unhappy for whatever reason with your Advantage plan, you can make that switch now, and you can enroll into a new or a different Advantage plan effective April 1. Or you could also drop an Advantage plan, return to original Medicare, and get a supplemental plan. But remember, if you've been on your Advantage plan for longer than a year and you want to leave Advantage and go back to original Medicare and get a supplemental plan, you're going to more than likely have to medically qualify, okay? So be careful on that. And again, it's not too late to do it, but you're going to have to medically qualify. We have to ask you 35, 40 health questions. We're going to check your medications, give that information to the insurance company, and they may or may not like what they see, and so they don't have to approve you. They could, or they don't have to. And that's called the Medicare Advantage OEP. Last one, and I'll be quiet and I'll start taking your questions. I know I've gone a little long, but I want to make sure everyone's clear on this one. This is called the Medigap OEP. So this is all about Medigap policies. Many of you don't want Advantage. You want a Medigap policy. Why? Because you don't want to deal with networks. You don't deal with pre-authorizations. You want a permanent plan, lifetime plan, all that. So you want a supplemental plan. So what happens when we first go on Medicare, whether that's at 65 or that's at 67, what they do is they give us the 6-month window that is tied to the B date of Medicare, not the A date. The B date. Now, my A and B dates were the same. I started Medicare in January, and so my card is 1/1/2026. I went on Medicare fully. Some of you will go on Medicare A only now, and 2 years later go on Medicare B. But whenever you start your B, then the clock starts ticking. And we have this 6-month window where we can get any Medigap policy, based upon our age, of course, that is sold in our market with no health questions asked, no underwriting. Companies have to cover you. They have to cover your pre-existing conditions. They have to approve your policy regardless of how unhealthy you may be. They have to approve it. But that window is only 6 months. So I turned 65 in January. Now, I did my policy in advance. Most states, we can do 3 months in advance. Some states, 6 months in advance. But my MedSup plan started January 1. But I'm still in my Medigap OEP, so I have a 6-month window. January, February, March, April, May, June. So I'm still in this 6-month window of my B date where I could still switch, get any kind of Medicare supplemental plan I want. No underwriting. Insurance companies have to approve that. That's called the Medigap OEP, 6-month window. Now, if you live in New York, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, you don't have to worry about that. But everywhere else, that could be the one and only opportunity for some of you to get a Medigap policy. And you may want that. That's what I decided to go with. So half of you will go with Medicare Advantage. The other half will go with, of course, the MedSup plans. All right, so those are the enrollment periods, and I rambled on about this because we don't want you to miss these. We want you to take action when Medicare allows you to do it so you can avoid penalties and future problems as well. All right, so that was a lot, Hannah. I am going to take questions. So hopefully we have some tonight. Let's get started. I am ready. All right, I took an early retirement package, age 62. The company paid a lump sum that's reported on my 2024 return. Good. Can I use this retirement package payout as a life-changing event to appeal IRMA? Okay, so here's the way it works. If you're starting Medicare in 2026 and they're looking back at 2024, if you retired in 2025 or you're retired this year, then yes, you can appeal your IRMA. Okay, that you have an appealable offense. But if you're retired before that time, you cannot. And so I'm assuming that you must have retired around the same time. So it could be that you can use the life-changing event, and it's called work stoppage or work reduction. But again, we're in 2026, so looking at 2024. And so you can give them new numbers for 2025, or you can give them new numbers for 2026 if indeed your life-changing event has occurred within that window. Okay, so that's the way it works. So you may have an appealable offense just as long as your dates line up. Now, it could be that if you retired in 2024, then you can give that date to them as well, because they're looking back 2 years, so you can look back 2 years and give them that event. So what will happen for you is, if you can use the 2024, you can use that same event for 2 years. And so as we get into 2027, they'll look back at 2025. It doesn't sound like to me your income was high there. So I would try to use the life-changing event if indeed you retired in 2024. All right. Hope that helps. The form is called an SS44. SS44, you fill that out. You give them new numbers. Again, you can give them 25 or 26. And then submit that to a local Social Security office, and you should be able to win that appeal. Okay? All right, let's keep going. All right, can I get Medicare after being on widow's pay for 2 years, or must I wait until I turn 65? I'm medically needy and disabled. Okay, well, here's the way it works. Just because you're getting survivor benefits, that alone does not make you eligible for Medicare. It would at 65 for sure. And so what you'll need to do, if you're receiving Social Security disability, then that could be the case. Because people that are receiving Social Security disability, and again, not survivor, but Social Security disability, then on the 25th month of having received those disability checks, their Medicare A and B begins at a variety of ages, 47, 51, 61, all kinds of ages. So let me say it again. If you are indeed receiving Social Security disability, 25th month, you'll automatically be able to start your Medicare A and B. But it sounds like to me it's widow. I don't know. It just depends on how they classified you. Do they classify you as being disabled, and so it's Social Security disability based upon your previous spouse's work record? That could have happened. Because that is possible. So not knowing for sure what kind of benefits you're getting, I'll just say this: if it's just widow, not disability, the answer is no. You'll have to wait to 65. But if disability on the 25th month, that would be yes. All right. All right. You can call a local office, and they'll tell you what you're eligible for. They'll let you know. All right. Next question. Okay. I'm working on taxes due to retiring October 2025. I received several 1099-Rs, okay? Majority went to IRA account, which increased income. Well, I need to talk to Social Security about the increased income. No, well, they're actually going to know about that. And so remember, what's happening now, what happened in October will not come up until next year. All right, and so in 2027, they're going to look back at 2025. And so at that time, what you can do, if you retired and you did, what you can do is you can give them new numbers, so that for your timing, it's really going to be fine. So again, right now they looked at 2024. So I'm assuming you're not concerned about that income for 2024. It's not pushing you up to IRMAs. But if next year we roll around and you are going to have an IRMA because of 2025 income, then you can give them your life-changing date, life-changing event, work stoppage or work reduction. Again, put the date in there, October 2025. And then what you have the right to do then is you can give them 2026 numbers, or you can give them, next year you'll be able to give them 2027. Remember, they automatically look back 2. But if I've had a life-changing event in the last 2 years, I give them that event, that reason, the date of that, and then I give them new numbers saying, hey, that life-changing event has caused me to make less money. And so your life-changing event will be, of course, work stoppage or work reduction, and you should win that appeal. But you cannot do it in advance. So the letter will come to you probably sometime in December, and they'll say, oh, by the way, we looked at your 2025 return. You're going to have an IRMA. They'll tell you what that amount is, and they give you the opportunity to appeal that. Now, they might like you to appeal it within 10 days, so I would do it, as soon as possible, but they sometimes will backdate for a certain period of time as well. But I'm just assuming that we're talking about this happening for you. Later this year, you get the letter, and then you'll appeal it as you roll into 2027 to get rid of the IRMA. Again, you'll give them 26 numbers or 27 numbers, either one. Okay? All right, let's keep going. I have Part A and VA disability, but unsure how they work together. Well, they're really not going to work together. They're totally separate. They're both government agencies, so the VA is not going to bill Part A, and Part A is not going to pay any hospital bills to the VA. What I would highly recommend you thinking about, okay, just as an option. A lot of people that, again, I'm not sure how old you are, but I'm assuming that if you're approaching 65, I would encourage you to go ahead and enroll in A and B. And so what I would do is have A and B, and then you have your VA to use when you want to. And the reason I'm saying enroll in A and B, because there's a special program designed for you, also for people on TRICARE, retired military, where you can enroll into what is called an MA only plan, Medicare Advantage only, MA only. And what this plan does is you have to get your drugs to the VA. And because you do that, you get your meds to the VA, the Medicare Advantage only company will actually give you a credit back on your Social Security check towards Part B. We call that a Part B give back. Those range anywhere from $120, sometimes up to $185 a month. So it brings that Part B premium down substantially. Why does that happen? Well, because the Advantage company is getting they're getting a what we call a capitation rate, a flat fee per month per member from Medicare, and they take some of that money because you're getting your meds elsewhere, and they credit that back to you. And so, it pulls that down. And then the reason I like that is because now you use the VA when you want to, but now also you have a civilian option if you want a civilian option. So you can go to just regular hospitals and docs, and so those are real good options for you. You're eligible for Medicare. The Medicare Advantage because you paid into the Medicare system. You're eligible for VA because you served in the military. Now, if you said to me, hey, my money is tight, I cannot even afford the Part B premium, I only want to do Medicare A because of cost, that is fine. You can do that for sure, but you're bound to the VA only, and if you ever want to pick up B at a later date, you'll have to incur penalties for coming into B at a later date. For every 12 months we go without Medicare B when we're first eligible, we're assessed a 10% penalty. And so there's many times people wish they would have taken B and they didn't, and now they're put it off for 3 years. Now they got a 30% penalty added to their Part B, and that penalty is for life. And so that's why I like it when veterans go ahead and get A and B, get the MA only plan so we can pull that B premium down. Probably only cost you maybe $100 a month then. So it's quite reduced, and then use the Medicare Advantage when you want to, plus the perks that come along with the Advantage plan. All right, so that's my advice really across the board for anyone that's on VA or even TRICARE. Okay, let's keep going. All right, I'm moving from California to Tennessee. What do I need to do so my Medicare is seamless? I'm on a Blue Shield Advantage plan. Okay, well, first off, the Blue Shield Advantage plan you're on in California will not be in Tennessee. Guarantee you that. And so what you need to do, you qualify for what's called an SEP, Special Enrollment Period. And there's a lot of different reasons people have special enrollments, but yours is because you're moving. And so the rules are for a Special Enrollment Period mover, we call it, 30 days before the move date or 60 days after the move date, you have the right then to move. Of course, you're moving. You have the right in Tennessee to do a couple things. Because your plan won't be in Tennessee, you would have the right to return to original Medicare and get a supplemental plan, depending upon your age, a supplemental plan without any underwriting, because that's one option you have. Or when you get your move date is set, 30 days before, 60 days after you move, you can get a different Advantage plan in Tennessee. And again, there's no medical underwriting for that at all. So those are your options. Return to original Medicare, get a SUP, no underwriting, or just get a different Advantage plan. If you want help with that, as you get close to that, just give us a call. We write in California. We're familiar with those plans, right in Tennessee as well. So we can help you with that particular move if you would like. But you qualify to do really either one of those things. All right, hope that helped. Let's keep going. All right, if you start Medicare before taking Social Security, I know you have to pay Part B premiums, but once you start taking Social Security, will that automatically be taken? Yes, it will be. It will automatically. So right now, if you're not on Social Security, they give you a direct bill, or you sign up for what's called Medicare Easy Pay. And I just want to give you a word of caution for any of you on Medicare Easy Pay. And by the way, I am also. That's how I'm paying. I'm not on Social Security yet. You want to make sure that once you get ready to take Social Security, 30 days before you take Social Security payments, you want to be sure 30 days prior to that you notify the Medicare Easy Pay system that you are going on Medicare, so they don't take out of your checking account as well as out of your Social Security check. Now, if they do that, they'll refund you the money, but that can take a while. So I love Medicare Easy Pay, but 30 days in advance of taking Social Security, we want to cancel that Easy Pay system. All right, so hopefully I answered your question there. It'll automatically become a Social Security check deduction once those benefits you start receiving those, for sure. All right, great question. Let's keep going. If I don't purchase Plan D when I turn 65, can I purchase one later? Will I be penalized? Okay, well, here's the way it works. You can purchase one around your 65th birthday, and you also have up to 3 months after to do it. So let's say your birthday, let's just say it's May. And so your 7-month window, of course, would have been, we start at May, we back up April, March, February. So yeah, February, March, April, you could have applied for a Part D plan if your birthday's in May, and then you have June, July, August. So you can put it off as long as August. That's the last month of your 7-month window. In my example, take your birth month, 3 months later, and that last third month you can enroll, and they'll start your drug plan the following month. Okay, so in that window, no penalties. All right, now, if you don't enroll then, your question is, can you get one later? And yes, you can. However, you can only add drug plans now during October 15th to December 7th, and that plan will start January 1st. So yes, you can purchase one later, but not just because you want to. You have to do it only October 15th to December 7th, effective January 1. Now, here's the way the penalties work. The penalties are this: 1% per month for every month you went without. Okay, so if you should have had a plan, but you didn't enroll into a plan, it's a 1% per month penalty, and that is for life. So let me keep it simple. The way they calculate the formula, the penalty formula, it is 1% of the national drug plan average. Right now, that national drug plan Part D plan average is close to $40. So what is 1% of $40? 40 cents. So for every month I go without, I have a 40-cent penalty, and I have that for life. So let's say you go without a year. That's 12 months times 40 cents. That's $4.80 a month that will be added to your drug plan in the future. Got it? So that's hefty. So the way to look at it, as a general rule, for every year we go without, you're going to have to pay your drug penalty $5 a month per year for life. So you go without 2 years, $10 a month added to your drug plan for life. So they're lifetime penalties. Now, listen, that is not the biggest risk, going without a Part D plan. The penalties are not that much. The biggest risk is, let's say you don't get a drug plan, and let's say in April of some year you have a health issue, and you don't have a drug plan. You can't just add one because you have a $7,000 a month medication, or you need a $30,000 a month medication. You can't do that until when? October 15th to December 7th. So the biggest penalty is having to wait to get a drug plan if you need expensive medications. That's the problem. So I would never, honestly, I take no meds, nothing at all. But I have a drug plan. Now, in my area, the cheapest drug plan was $9.60. Some areas, there's plans that are $0 or, a few bucks. But I would just find the least expensive drug plan possible, just in case your health were to change and you needed a medication and you don't have a drug plan. That's a problem. Okay. The reason I like Part D plans now is because the max out of pocket is $2,100 for the whole year. I have people on meds that are $30,000 a month. They pay $2,100 for the whole year for those meds that cost $30,000. Okay, so get a drug plan, please. All right, let's keep going. I understand that brokers can no longer be compensated for helping clients enroll in drug plans. Can you guys still enroll people into a drug plan? Well, not only that, all the platforms are down right now. The only place that we can enroll people into drug plans is through Medicare.gov. Yeah, all broker platforms, that they've all been removed. Now, what we do is we'll set all that system up for you, and then we send you a link, and then you can do your enrollment. We do that for clients all the time. Now, let me share this with you. That's for our Med Sup clients. If you're just wanting someone to help you with the drug plan, there's no way we can do that. I promise we get no compensation, but for our clients, we definitely facilitate that. Be happy to help our clients with that for sure. But again, all we're doing is going to Medicare.gov. We'll look those plans up. We send you a link. You go to the link and enroll in your plan. Literally takes 10 minutes. It really is not that hard at all. Okay. All right. Hope that helped. Let's keep going. All right, I'm retiring 7/30/26. I have Part A, but want to apply for Part B now. When is the best time to apply? My employer is 20. Okay, good. So let's back the clock up. So you're retiring 7/30. That tells me you probably want to start your Medicare August 1. So let's back it up. 7, 6, 5. Okay, so what you're going to do is after May 1, you're going to, and by the way, let me mention this. If you use our company, we'll do all this for you. Okay, happy to do it all day long. Okay, so any of you wanting to enroll in Medicare, we do that for our clients, so let us do it for you. Okay, but if you do it on your own, what's going to happen, after May 1, you're going to download a form that's called an L564. And you're going to complete Part A, and that's it. That's all you can do. Your name, employer's address, your social security number, and you're going to get an employer's address, employer name, your name, social security number. You're going to get that to your HR department, and they're going to complete Part B, verifying you've had insurance and work, active work, you or your spouses, either one. And they're going to complete the form, and then you're going to fill out another form. Not them, just you, and that's called a 40B. And on that 40B form, you are going to put your Medicare number on there, and you're going to tell them a little bit about you, but then you're going to put in the comments section, please begin my Medicare August 1. Okay, so this process cannot start any sooner than 5/1. If you try to do it now and you submitted the paperwork, they're not going to process it. They will not process the special enrollment paperwork any sooner than 90 days of your effective date. Okay, so what I'm saying, we're going to start 8/1, so we're going to start this process right after 5/1. The L564 needs to be dated after 5/1, and of course your 40B form as well. So that's the process using the special enrollment period. And again, we'd love to help you with that. Do it all for you at no cost whatsoever. Okay, but that's the process. All right, Hannah, who's next? Okay, good. Okay, on our newly FEHB, those of you watching, FEHB stands for Federal Employee Health Benefits. This is for people that are retired civil service. I have a Part B IRMA automatically with my government annuity. Is it normal to get a separate Part D IRMA bill for Medicare? Yes, it is. For a while especially. I pay IRMAs, and I still haven't got my IRMA bill. I started Medicare in January. I've been notified, but the bill still hadn't showed up. So they're kind of slow and all that. So here's the point. When we first enrolled in Medicare, I started January. So my bill was due December 25th, but all it was my Part B premiums. It wasn't my IRMA. They told me I'm going to have an IRMA as they looked at tax returns, but haven't received my bill for that yet. All right, and so I went ahead and enrolled in Medicare Easy Pay, so I know they're going to take it out of a checking account. I'm just using me as an illustration to let you know it's separate. But here's the point. So when we self-enroll in Medicare and we're paying our Part B premiums, the IRMA bills will eventually come. And sometimes it's kind of hodgepodge. I've tracked many of these through the years. Your first IRMA bill, maybe 2 months of B and nothing of D. And then your next IRMA bill may be, 2 months of D and 1 of B. But here's what I'm saying. Pay what they're asking you to pay. Okay, as the bills come in, and I promise you within 6 months, once the dust is settled, it'll probably be 100% accurate. Okay, so I think what happens is they have one department that just takes care of the standard Part B premiums, and then they have another department that takes care of the IRMAs for the B and IRMAs for the D. But eventually that invoice will be accurate. It'll be for the B as well as the B IRMA and the D IRMA. Just pay the bills, let the dust settle, don't worry about it, don't panic, just do what they say, and then I trust me, in 6 months, it'll all be accurate. Okay, it just takes a while. All right, let's keep going. All right, I'm curious. Why do you seem to prefer dropping off physical paperwork at Social Security and also faxing it for Part B enrollment versus doing so online? Is there a problem? You know what? You got to remember, I've been doing this 17 years. And so the new online system, it's new. They haven't been doing it a lot of time. And I'm sorry that I didn't talk about that. What can happen if you do it online, it'll probably go through smoothly. So I have to retrain myself to remember that option. I have done thousands and thousands and thousands of these kind of the old-fashioned way. So I'm not discouraging anyone to submit the L564 and the 40B online. You can do that. And I'm sorry, I just have to retrain my brain on that option. So that's the problem. So your curiosity is good. In the past, we always dropped it off or we'd fax and mail, but doing online would be fine. I'm sure there will not be an issue. Okay. I would tell you this. The only caution I would have, though, on the online is this. Be sure that when you tell them that you do want to start Part B, that you do pick the right date. Because let's say that I wanted to start my Part B, let's just say June 1. I could set that all that up now, do my L56 and my 40B. But if I submitted that paperwork and I didn't tell them I want to start June 1 and it went in today, they're going to start it in April. So it starts the very next month. And so just make sure you specify on the 40B when you want to begin. So when you upload that, otherwise the default mode is always next month. All right, so I'll start retraining myself to say do it online if you want. All right, let's keep going. Appreciate you mentioning that too, by the way. Okay, I'm collecting Social Security, turn 65 this June. When will I get notified about monthly premium amount to be deducted for possible IRMA? Okay, sorry, I turned 65 June. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to be automatically enrolled into Medicare. So let's back up the clock. 5, 4, 3. So you just got your Medicare card. Good. And so they're going to take the Part B premium and your IRMAs right out of your Social Security check. So I would say that within about a month or maybe 2, you'll be notified exactly what your Social Security check deduction is going to be. If you were on a direct bill, you would know that by May 25th. That's the way it works. It's always on the 25th of the month before you actually, the bill's due. So you start Medicare in June, so I know you're going to know by May 25th. I would suspect it would be a little bit sooner than that, but that would be the very latest. I would suspect sometime probably in April or May, they'll start sending you correspondence about it to let you know what the reduction will be. Okay, so that's the way it's going to work. But no later than May 25th for sure, but probably before. All right, let's keep going. Have veterans health care and working with your company to get a Medicare Advantage plan. If I later decide I want a Med Sup, can I get one without medical underwriting? Well, the way it works is this. You can get off of your Medicare Advantage plan and return to get a SUP with no underwriting if you started your Medicare at 65 A and B. You have what's called a trial right. It lasts for 1 year. So let me say it again, because trial rights vary, but the one that is consistent throughout the country is if we start Medicare A and B at 65 and we opt for a Medicare Advantage plan, we are now in a trial right. So let's just say you start it, let's just say May 1. And you're on the MA only plan, you're getting your meds to the VA, and then from May 1 all the way up until April 30th of next year, you're in your trial right, which means you can get a Medicare supplemental plan with no underwriting. Now, let's say you keep that MA only plan longer than that, though. You can still try to then get on a supplemental plan, but then you would have to go through underwriting. So anyone that keeps their Advantage plan longer than a year, wants to return back to original Medicare, can do so October 15th to December 7th, January 1 to March 31, but now we have to go through underwriting to get that supplemental plan. And that's frankly one of the grief points, pain points of people that go on Advantage plans. A lot of times agents don't tell them that they only have this little window where they can return to original Medicare, get a SUP with no underwriting. And so they stay on their Advantage plan for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 10 years, whatever, and they want to get off of it because of a health issue, and now they have to go through medical underwriting. So if they want to get off of it for a health issue, then they're probably not going to be able to pass underwriting. All right, so the answer to your question is yes, the first year afterwards you can still do it, but underwriting will be required. All right, next question. Where is the best place to find all the details about what providers are covered for medical equipment for each plan? Oh, that is tough. That is really tough. So what I would do, let me tell you the easiest thing to do, instead of trying to find out the details through like a plan, what I would do is I would find out where would you be getting that medical equipment, whatever it is, and then ask them, what plans they take. But usually when a durable medical equipment provider has a contract with Medicare, they usually will take Medicare Advantage plans, and they definitely are going to take your supplemental plan. Okay, so the best place to find all the details about what providers. That's just tough. So what I would do is, I'm not sure who prescribed your durable medical equipment, but you may want to ask them what insurance companies they'll take. But the truth is, if they have that Medicare contract, I think almost all of them will take your Advantage plan. I know they'll take the SUP plan. Okay, so I just don't know of any place at all where you can just get a general directory of DME suppliers. And frankly, there's not that many of them. The Medicare reimbursement rate is somewhat low, but most markets there's probably half a dozen of them. And then you can contact them and find out if they take your plan. All right. Sorry I couldn't provide any more help than that, but DME can be very interesting for sure. All right, let's keep going. Can G plans be switched during the AEP period if the coverage changes? Okay, well, number one, the coverage never changes on a G plan. The only thing that changes on a G plan would be your premium. And that doesn't necessarily happen at AEP. It happens usually on the anniversary of your policy, 1 year later, 2 years later. And so you can switch your G plan really anytime you want to, if you want to switch G plan or switch from a G to an N. So Med Sup plans, folks, can be switched anytime. So if I am taking action during AEP and I'm on a supplemental plan, I can move supplemental plans then or any other time, or if I want to move from my G plan to a Medicare Advantage plan, then you have to do it during the AEP. It's the only time you can move from SUP to Advantage is October 15th to December 7th. But your question to me about coverage changing, your G plan can't change. It is permanent. I have a G plan. Our coverage will never change. The only thing we're responsible for once a year, we got to meet the Medicare B deductible. And that's it. So coverage never changes, but the premium can. All right? So hope that helped. Let's keep going. All right, I'm looking at retirement August 2026. I'll be 67 in September. Okay, still working at school and have insurance through them. He just told me I have enough sick days accumulated that my school insurance will pay for a year or more. I'm not sure what my choices are. Please help. I'm not sure. Okay, what to do. All right, so you may have enough sick days to accumulated to have insurance, but the issue is this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to download a form, L564. You can find it. It's very easy to find. L564. It's a CMS form, L564. And what we have to find out is the date that they would put down, for when your employment ends. And so what I would do in your situation is this. Let's know what the last date of employment is. And so that's question number one. And if the insurance company that you're going to be covered by, through these, because of these accumulated sick days, I would want to ask them, if you retire and you don't go on Medicare, will they still be in the first payer position? You've got to know that for sure, because officially, once you're retired, Medicare has to be put in the first payer position, and then if you have a group plan, it's going to pay second. And so you need to find that out. So from the date of retirement on, you have no more employment, will they continue to pay first? And I don't know that question. My gut feeling is they're going to tell you no. All right? So what you can do, though, is if they say no, we're only going to pay second, which I think that's going to be the answer. What I would do then is I would get enrolled in A and B, and then use this accumulated sick day insurance for no more than 6 months. Okay, and the reason for that is because if you use it longer than 6 months, then now you're going to have to medically qualify to get a Medicare supplemental plan. So it'd be like Cobra. I'm finding people using Cobra for 6 months of the B date. I'm finding them using your situation 6 months of the B date, but don't use it beyond that. So you can use it some, but not beyond. So let's keep it simple. Let's say that your insurance company at work says, no, once you're retired, we will no longer pay first. They will not. Therefore, you're enrolling in A and B. So now they're in the second payer position. And so let's say you start your Medicare, you said trying September. So you could still be in your Medigap open enrollment period 6 months of your B date. So because you're retiring in August, we're going to start Medicare, I'm assuming September 1. So A and B is September 1. And then if we can count our 6 months, September, October, November, December, January, February. So as long as you enroll into a MedSup plan, no later than February 28th or 29th, whatever, of next year, asking for a supplemental plan to start March 1 of 2027, you will be fine. You will have used it to the max that you can use on those 6 days, 6 months. Okay, but I wouldn't go beyond that, because after that window of time, now you can get a MedSup plan, but now you're going to have to medically qualify, so you could be rolling the dice on that. All right, so that's my answer to you. And by the way, we can help you with all that if you want help. All the agents could walk you through that same timeline. All right, that's the way to work, though. Thanks for the question. Good. Okay, Marvin, you're a Medicare encyclopedia. Oh, thank you. I am not retired yet. 9 months away from 65. I believe I heard you say that you recommend Medicare A and B even if you have FEHB. Okay. Well, I do, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you take A and B along with FEHB, what happens is A and B pays first, and FEHB is going to be in the second payer position. Now, here's the way it works. GEHA and FedBlue, Blue Cross Blue Shield, will give you about an $800 credit towards your Part B annually. In other words, they're rewarding you for enrolling into A and B. It helps them because they're in the second payer position, and then it helps you because if you make that decision at 65, there's no penalties. So let's say you don't take B now, and you just have A and you have FEHB. So here's the way the claim is going to work. A pays first, FEHB pays second. But everything that would be normally covered by the B of Medicare, now FEHB pays first and you pay second. All right? So now you could be out of pocket substantially. So that's why I think it's wise to take A and B, put them in the first payer position, use FEHB as second. You'll get the credit back towards your Part B, so you're pulling that down. The second reason I would do it is because if you don't take B now at 65, then if you want to get it later, now you're going to be penalized. Even though the government says you don't have to have it because of FEHB, you still have to live with those general enrollment period rules. You can enroll in a Medicare first 3 months of the year only, and now for every 12 months you went without Part B, you're going to have a penalty of 10% added to Part B for the rest of your life. I've had FEHB people regret not taking B, and they were 4 or 5 years penalized, 40 to 50% added to their Part B premium, and that's very substantial. So I like A and B. They're going to pay well. FHB is going to pay second. So to me, that's a very good combination. All right, and I know a lot of federal employees take A only, and that's fine if you want to roll the dice on it. I'm just saying I personally would not do that. I just feel like there's some regret that's probably going to happen if you have a serious illness. Okay? All right. Good question. Let's keep going. Your company and Jacob helped me sign up for Medicare, and I chose our Part G. Good. The premium when I signed up was $305. Just got home and got a letter. The premium is now $368. Oh boy, yeah, that's disappointing. All right, so I wish I knew where you lived because that's a very high premium for sure. So I'm assuming I don't know where you live, but that'd be nice. So what I would do is call us back. You may get Jacob, you may get one of our other agents, whatever. You can ask for Jacob, but sometimes, they're on the phone, but we'll take care of you. So just call in and let us shop those new rates for you to see if you have some better options. Just call the 800 number you can see it on the screen. And we're open right now. We're open till 7 Central Time tonight. We close at 6 on Fridays, but Monday to Thursday at 7. So you can call in right now. And if all the agents are busy, just you can tell the receptionist that you're our client and you want to shop prices, and let's see if we can't improve your position. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty hefty increase there. I would agree. So hopefully we can find a better option for you, and we'll do our best to see if we can't get you switched. Okay, so please call in. Thanks for letting us serve as your broker too. Okay, Hannah. Next, I was the victim of fraud. As a result, my income was grossly overstated, resulting in state and federal taxes that are more than 1 year of Social Security. Okay, also incurred steep IRMA charges. Hired a lawyer for the tax issue. What can I do? Oh, about the IRMA charge. Oh boy. Well, what I would do is I think I would talk to your local Social Security office about that, and I would ask them what to do, because I've never had that in my career. I'm sorry. Obviously, you need to you have an appealable offense, but the SS-44 form doesn't have that as an option, to appeal. But I think there could be an exception because of what you've gone through. You obviously hired an attorney to fix the tax problem. So I think what they'll do then is they can look back and see that those files. I'm assuming those files got amended and corrected, so you can. Another thing you could do. There's a form. You can Google this, or whatever search engine you use. It's called Social Security Reconsideration. Social Security Reconsideration. I don't know the form number, but that may be a form to use. But I definitely would call your local office, and maybe call the National Medicare line as well and ask them that question. I just know there's only 8 options on the IRMA appeal form, and that's not one of them. And there's no another line. So I think I think you have an appealable offense here for sure. But it's just not the SS-44. So it's either reconsideration one, or I think they'll tell you exactly how you get that adjusted, and pursue that, because I think you can win that one. So that there is a form. So if you Google, Social Security reconsideration. All right. Hope that helped. That's a tough one. Sorry to hear about that. Okay, my Social Security has been stopped for some reason and is getting audited. Do I still get Medicare? Yeah, I don't think they're going to cancel your Medicare at all. As far as being stopped, I wonder is it because you're above the earnings test, maybe? That could be a reason. Maybe they think they somehow overpaid you, and that's why they stopped those. But I don't know why you still wouldn't get your Medicare. And again, that's a question that I would just call Medicare director. I'd call my local Social Security office and make sure. But I can't see that would interfere at all with your Medicare eligibility. Okay? So that's my 2 cents on that one. Okay? That's who I'd check with. All right, next. Okay. All right. I guess that's it. Very good. Well, hey, folks, thanks a lot. I appreciate you being a part. Sorry for those of you I couldn't give a real clear answer on some of those questions. Just very unique. Wish you the best with those. And then, again, don't forget tomorrow, Medicare Daily, 11 a.m. Central Time. I'd love to have you there. And then, of course, this Thursday, be back with you again on Friday. Tell your friends about us if you don't mind. We love to educate people. If we can serve as your broker, let us know as well. Have a great evening. Thanks a lot.